Hi, class. Hi, Mrs. Squirrel. Hi, Celeste. It's Auntie Bea. On our 13th day in India, we were in the city of Savai. Now, this is where we stayed at the hunting lodge from one of the Maharajas. Now, what we did after we had breakfast is the Colonel, Mrs. Singh, and I, Uncle Richard wasn't feeling very well, went into the Ranthambhor National Park. Oh, look, there's a mongoose. And there's a lot of wildlife in this national park. It actually has a tiger preserve. Look at this mommy and see her little baby monkey. Isn't that cute? This kind of monkey is called a langora. Look at that sweet little monkey. And look, here's the daddy, making sure we're not going to bother the mama and the baby. How sweet is that? And look at the peacock. Is that amazing? The colors on the peacock are just beautiful. I think it's probably the most beautiful color I've ever seen. As you can see, we saw all kinds of animals going into the forest. We're actually going to a fort. Look at all the monkeys. I saw more monkeys on this day than I'd ever seen in my life. Look at the monkeys trying to get water out of the faucet. They must be thirsty. And then here's another mama with the baby. The baby's feeding, and there's a little baby next to her. And look at those monkeys. Do you think they tried to ride that motorcycle? They sure were funny sitting there. Look at that little baby's head. How cute is that? And there's the Colonel getting a picture. Oh, and here's the baby that was feeding. Now look, the baby's so young, he can't even use his hands good yet. He's trying to get that piece of grass. He might not get the grass, but he can sure jump like crazy. Not only were there monkeys all over the fort, there were these beautiful peacocks. Now, we hired a guide to take us up into the fort. That's where we're going to go. This fort was built over 1,064 years ago. Is that amazing? That was before they had concrete and cement. I don't know how they did it. And it's still standing, a lot of it. It's actually quite amazing. One of the Maharajas lived here, one of the kings. Look at that monkey's feet. Monkeys have taken over the fort. They like living here. Here's one of the entrances to the fort. There were 3 big doors going into the fort. And at the top there's a lot of activity, and they used these horses to carry items up. Now, when we were going up, we passed the horses coming down, and when we were coming down, the horses were going up carrying things. Can you believe these walls and staircases were built over 1,000 years ago? Now, this is the hole where they kept a gun, so when they saw people attacking, they could shoot a little hole. And these beautiful natural orchids grew all over at the top. Just beautiful. We had walked up those stairs. It was quite a walk up to the top. You could pay someone to carry you, but we walked it. This is a mosque up on the top. On the top of the fort, inside the fort, there's actually a mosque and a Hindu temple and a Jain temple, all still being used today. This was an area where the grooms would come before they got married and wait. They had a beautiful view. We go on our safari down there around the lake tomorrow. And this was a dance hall. And you'll notice there's little holes in the wall. And that's where they put the candles for light. But they used to have big dance parties here. Again, that's another picture of the mosque. And the place we're standing now, you can see the castle in the background, or the palace, was a tribute that the Maharaja built for his father to remember him by. It was quite beautiful. Now, along the way, you could build a little house. And then, if you got your house, then you would come back in and give a prayer of Thanksgiving. So I built me a little house. That was the picture. And here's Jiptesh's mom building him a little house with a garden. Can you believe how old these buildings are? We weren't allowed in the palace. Look at this baby monkey. He's so born he didn't even have hair on his head. Now at the very top, behind the palace, was this little farmer's market area and a Hindu temple. They have a lot of festivals up here. We bought this tray of flowers and herbs, and we took them into the temple for an offering. Look at this guy feeding the monkeys. You had to watch your flowers, though, because the monkeys would steal your flowers when you were going in and out of the temple and eat them. Now here's Jivtesh's mom building a house for Jivtesh's sister. Notice she put a garden around it as well. She's a doctor in the Navy in India. And this was interesting. Banyan trees actually grow in and out of the rocks. I'll show you more tomorrow. Look at this deer. There are a lot of varieties of deer in the forest. And this deer was stopping and watching us, and we watched him. Now, the guy who drove us told us there was a leopard somewhere around, but we didn't see him. He could tell by the way the monkeys were calling out to each other. And there was some kind of horse at the very top here. Couldn't exactly tell what it was. It was actually very far away. I zoomed in. And now you can see how far we were. And what the guide was trying to show us, I thought he was showing us the horse. He was showing us this bird. This is a kingfisher. It's a pretty rare bird. And again, its tail feathers were just beautiful. Now, there's the colonel taking a picture. Look what he's taking a picture of. A crocodile on the other side of the river. And on the way back to the hotel, we had to stop the car because there were so many monkeys in the road. It was funny. The driver was honking the horn and trying to make the monkeys move, and some of them wouldn't move. Back to the hotel. The rest of the gang comes in this afternoon. We'll play with them and do our safari tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye, class.